Now the latest from ITV News Anglia with Becky Jago and Jonathan Wills.
Good evening, welcome to ITV News Anglia. After 50 years and 2 million students, happy birthday to the Open University. Well, next to an institution that's changed just a few lives.
Certainly has. The Open University is celebrating its 50th birthday in 5 decades. It's become the largest university in the UK and pioneered long-distance learning.
Well, celebrations have been taking place at the university's base in Milton Keynes. Ravina Gatura has been looking at how it's developed since 1969.
50 years ago, it was officially celebrated as a university open to all. From its famous late-night broadcast to the first graduation ceremony in 1973, the Open University has become a pioneer in distance learning. 5 decades on, its success is still being celebrated.
Happy birthday to you. 50 years ago, many people in HE and probably many politicians would have thought it was crazy. Saying that we would be open to anyone, we weren't going to have the sort of entry qualifications that other universities would require, that we were going to teach at a distance. It seemed like a bit of an impossible dream.
One of those 2 million students was Teresa. She studied here in 1975, but today was the first time she's ever been to the Milton Keynes campus.
Never been here before in my life, and yet it's thanks to the Open University I got my first teaching job way back in 1980. So it was making its mark when it was just a mere stripling. And 50 years on, it's wonderful to see this place, yeah, because you're never too old to learn.
And you're never too far away either. Tracy was sailing across the world at the same time as doing her degree.
There were times when I would be studying in the middle of an ocean, so if you can imagine, I'd be 1,000 miles from land and it's blowing 50 knots and I'd been on deck for 4 hours and there's big crashing waves and I'm soaking wet and freezing cold. It wasn't always that easy, but I persevered and it was really great. I really enjoyed it in the end.
Today the university is home to more than 170,000 students. Although grounded in revolution, the story here is one of evolution. A university continually looking for ways to reach students beyond lecture halls and science labs.
I wasn't aware that the OU even offered PhDs, that they had a real campus. So because of the reputation of the department especially, I've already had the opportunity to meet some brilliant people around the world, you know, at NASA, at ESA, and that would be the dream really, to kind of work within the field.
For the last 50 years, this university has grown in size and grown in numbers, inspiring millions to reach their dreams, no matter where they take them.
Well, that's the last 50 years, but the future here at the Open looks even more promising. As well as being a pioneer in higher education, this university is also leading the way with technology too. Now, Nick, you're one of the professors here, and you can show us just how students can do live science experiments over the internet.
Yes, OK, this is our engineering laboratory, and you can see that things are set out in 3 dimensions. In a conventional university, you might have things in 2 dimensions because you have to have the student on the campus at the same time. But here, the student is connected over the internet to benchtop experiments like this one here, which is waggling a pendulum up and down, and there are other electronics experiments too. We've got telescopes that they can connect to, and microscopes. I've got on screen now a sophisticated electron microscope that our students connect to at a certain time. This is showing a picture of a fruit fly, and I can just zoom in and show some of the detail of this fruit fly's eye in beautiful sharpness. It's a live experiment now. It's a dead fly, but it's a live experiment on the other side of our campus. And here we're looking at the multiple facets of a fly's eye, and that's about 2 human hairs across the screen there.
Brilliant. Well, they are amazing achievements. What can we look forward to in the next 50 years?
Well, the next 50 years, in the next 10 maybe, I hope that now that we've got sight and sound from a distance, we can possibly begin to get some touch and, who knows, some sense of smell. We've already got collaboration. We have students working in teams across the internet, just like the real world.
Absolutely. Well, good luck for the future, and it's been a day to remember here at the Open University. Let's hope the next 50 years are as successful as the last.
Absolutely, Ravina Gatura.